If going from this ooh to this is what you want, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to teach you where you should put your focus when you practice mixed voice, so that you can master the technique and get rid of those voice cracks. If you struggle with voice cracks or flipping back and forth between chest voice and head voice, then you're not alone. What many singers experience when they go from a low to a high note is that they start in this chest voice mode and then they ascend until they cannot keep that mode of voice production any longer, and then the voice flips into pure head voice, which is a much thinner sound, and this is where you experience this a break or crack in your voice like this. You might also have experienced it when descending from head voice and into chest voice like this. The reason this happens, as you can see in this beautiful figure right here, is that the two muscle groups controlling your chest voice and your head voice are not the same. And that at some point when you go higher, it is not possible for your chest voice to produce sound any longer. And vice versa, at some point when you go lower, it is not possible for your head voice to produce sound any longer. I've made an in-depth geeky explanation on this topic right here, but for now, let us focus on demystifying the mixed voice and then practicing it together. Now, what you need to do to keep the control of your sound is to start mixing your chest voice and your head voice before your voice gets to the breaking point where it gives out on its own. So following this line, you should begin to mix in your head voice as you get to your passaggio, and then mix in more and more head voice until you're in pure head voice. And then oppositely, if you start in a head note, then once you get to your passaggio, you should begin to mix in more and more chest voice until you are in pure chest voice on your lower notes. And what you might be saying to me now is, well, Rania, that's all really great on this graph right here, but how do I actually do it? I have found that the key to getting your two muscle groups to work together, so your two voices, is resonance. It's kind of like this golden railing that connects the two voices that you can hold on to as you move between them. So as we've talked about in some of my previous videos on resonance, the resonance in your voice is its brilliance. It is this ping or this kind of louder, brilliant sound. And it's this self-reinforcing force that makes singing easier, and it actually also makes your voice louder at the same time. And it is created by your skull and your throat, as these cavities amplify the sound waves from your vocal folds, kind of like a speaker. And you can actually play around with this by adjusting your articulators, so your lips, your tongue, your jaw, and even your larynx, or your voice box, as we also call it. Now, often voice teachers, they will talk about placement as a way to get you to achieve good resonance. So you might have heard someone say, place your sound in your mask, place it out, or maybe even find a spot on the wall and focus on singing to that spot. And that's actually because just imagining these things helps you adjust your cavities here, helps you adjust your articulators so that you bring your sound out, so that you get good resonance. So I have 3 steps right here that you and I are going to go through together to then first help you get resonance, and then afterwards use it to help you mix that chest voice and that head voice. Step 1 is to get resonance in your head voice. Now, it is my experience that a lot of us are quite comfortable with the resonance in our chest voice, but that when it comes to the resonance in the head voice, we're not as familiar. And this is because the head voice often is something that we think of as this thin sound that we break into. But your head voice is so much more. And I think it's quite logical, right, that if you want to use the resonance to bridge the 2 registers, then you need to actually practice to have resonance in your head voice before you can do the mixing. So let's try to first sing a note without that much resonance in your head voice, and then we're going to sing a note with resonance to really get that difference so you can both hear it and feel it and know how to practice it. So here is a note without that much resonance. Ooh. And then now we're going to add in resonance by going you. Remember not to let your jaw scoot like this, right? And you can really think about it like the resonance, you're feeling it out right here at the very forefront of your lips, right? Like we talked about getting it into your mask. Some of my students, what really helped them is to think of an opera singer to really get that resonance. So they really overdo it. And it's of course not my goal that you sound like an opera singer, but as I've said before, with so many of the techniques in singing, it's really helpful to first overdo it so you really get it, and then you can take some of it off. As you've also seen me do in other videos, listening to yourself like this so you can really hear the resonance in the room really is helpful also. So let's just try that together. So we're going to go. So not that much resonance, and then we're going to add in the resonance. Yeah, much more resonance. Step 2, get comfortable with your break. Now we're going to slide from a head note to a chest note, and then afterwards we'll do chest to head so that you can really feel the break. Now you might actually already be a little bit better at managing it now since you have your resonance in your head voice, but I still want you to feel it and do it on purpose a few times so that you get familiar with it. And the reason I want you to do this is because there's no way to skip the break, and chances are that maybe most of your life you spent your time avoiding the break because it's not comfortable to be there, right? But it's one of those things that you can't skip it because then the break will be there. You have to work through it. So the only way is through. So you have to get familiar with it so that you can start navigating it. Start by placing a hand here on your chest so that you can feel the sympathetic vibration that will happen as you switch into your chest voice. And this will also help you later as you begin mixing the two voices. Here we go. Chest voice. There's something freeing in just letting the voice crack when it wants to. One more time. Right there. And when you get really comfortable with this and you start knowing where it's happening, how it feels when it's happening, it's like you understand the muscle groups, and it makes it much easier for you to then practice mixing. Now let's try going up. Often you will find that either going from low to high or high to low is easier for you so that you feel a little bit less of a break in one of the directions. And it kind of depends on who you are. I've experienced different things with different students, but I actually would love for you to let me know what direction is easiest to you so that we can see in the comments if maybe one of the directions is easier to the majority. So let me know. Step 3, practice mixing. So now you have your resonance and you are comfortable with your break. The third thing that we're going to do is that we're going to do slides. We're going to practice mixing by navigating between the two registers to make the break seamless. So what the goal is here is that we want to make sure that you anticipate the break by adding in that other voice before you lose control. Let's start with going from chest to head voice, and then afterwards we're going to flip it around and go from head to chest. So place a hand here to feel the vibration that you get when you start in your chest voice. And then get an ooh sound with a lot of resonance, right? Or a good amount of resonance. And then go up, and then when you get to that ooh, you want to continue to have that resonance in your ooh sound. So here we go. And we felt that I felt it all there in the middle, right? Let's do that again. So starting with chest, and you will feel these vibrations tinker out as you get higher, right? So here we go. And really remember to get a good breath before you do this glide, right? Because if you run out of air on your way, you'll definitely not have enough support to get that resonance to continue. So one last time. Hand here, and also I should say as you go higher, you want to keep in mind that the space in the oral cavity that you need to resonate on higher notes compared to the space that you need to resonate on lower notes is larger on the higher notes. So I don't know if you noticed with me, but I go ooh, and then you sort of go ooh. So the mouth is continuing to be kind of the same, but back here I'm opening back, opening more, right? So like one last time, try this with me. So take a good breath. Very nice. And then now let's do a few where we go from head voice to chest voice. So we're going to put a hand here so that we can feel the vibrations as we descend and as you start to begin mixing in chest voice. Here we go. You. Try one more time. Really take a good deep breath. You. Spend time there. Right? Sometimes you actually want to spend more time right there in the break to like sort of wait for all the navigation to take place and for you to have enough chest voice mixed in for you to feel that you can continue. So try that with me for a second. You. There's a place right there. So what you want to do there is just continue to breathe into it. Let's try one last time together. Back in chest voice. Now this is some advanced technique, so do not get discouraged if you don't get there right away. I'd say usually it takes 1 to 2 months before my students, they get this right. So you need to continue your work at it. Now resonance work is precision work on the 3rd building block of your voice, which means that your 1st and 2nd building blocks, which is your air and your throat muscles, they affect your ability to achieve great resonance. If you want to learn more about all of these, I invite you to check out my Foundation Builder course, which I linked in the description of this video, because it specifically takes you through how to master all 3 building blocks and then getting them to work together for you to achieve optimal sound. I created the course based on the experience that so many of my students, they wish to sing more advanced techniques like riffs and runs and high notes and mixed voice, right? And I found that the only way that you can truly get there is to get the foundation for this technique right. And that is what I created the course to do. So check it out and I will see you over there where we're going to continue to geek out on your voice to create the sound that you want.